Grandpa's cabin sat in serene isolation at the edge of Bear Creek Forest, its log walls warmed by decades of winter storms and summer breezes. I arrived before sunrise, swaying lantern in hand, expecting birdsong and mist on the lake. Instead, I found smashed lumber and shattered window panes, remnants of Karen Matthews's unhinged vendetta. She stormed through the doorway like a tempest unleashed, her HOA clipboard flapping as she hollered about illegal rentals and zoning violations. Dust swirled in her wake, motes dancing in the golden dawn light, as she trampled over my grandfather's heirloom rug, shrieking about unpaid fees and unauthorized occupants. Her words cut sharper than any broken glass under her designer pumps. Unbeknownst to her, I carried more than a lantern. I held a certificate confirming family deed rights dating back to 1923, authentic to the county archives. At her shrieks crescendo, the pistoning buckshot of my heartbeat pounded in my ears. I stepped into the cabin doorway, badge glinting at my belt. Me grandfather, once a sheriff here, sworn to protect our land, now symbolized by the silver star I wore. Karen froze mid-rant, jaw slack, as if the world had paused its spin. I swallowed, stashing the family deed inside my coat, and spoke with calm authority. This is private property, protected by the original grant. HOA bylaws don't extend here. Her hand trembled on the clipboard, pages fluttering like frightened birds. She squinted at the star pinned to my chest. Me credentials as a reserve deputy sheriff recognized by law. A twitch flickered behind her pupils, the first sign of doubt. Just as she prepared a retort, a low rumble of tires announced the approaching sheriff's cruiser. I signaled him with a nod through the broken doorway. His boots crunched on pine needles as he stepped out, silhouette framed by the cruiser's amber lights. Karen's color drained, the fire in her cheeks extinguished by the cool dawn air. But this confrontation was only the opening salvo in a deeper struggle. Karen, known for her public scoldings and social media rants, attempted to rally her HOA sycophants, summoning them in a flurry of frantic texts. They arrived in a disheveled line of SUVs, cameras rolling, eager to witness my humiliation. Yet the sheriff's presence silenced them. He placed a firm hand on Karen's shoulder and introduced himself, voice even. "Ma'am, you're trespassing under county code. I suggest you leave before I enforce removal." Karen's clipboard slipped from her grasp, pages scattering like fallen leaves. A hush fell over the gathering crowd as the sheriff's words echoed the law standing between entitlement and property rights. As the HOA entourage melted away, I confronted Karen directly. Her posture wilted beneath mine, the clipboard now limp at her side. Why come here before official notice? Why tear down memories for gossip? My voice trembled with anger and pain, but also with determination to restore order. She opened her mouth, closed it, and then unexpectedly tears. They fell onto the floorboard she had trampled, her fury dissolving into shame. In that moment a twist emerged. Her grandson, a shy boy of 10, crept out from behind her heels, clutching a tattered baseball glove. He had lived here all summer as my grandfather's helper, an arrangement Karen had willfully ignored. His wide eyes looked between us, confusion and fear mingling in his gaze. Realizing the gravity of her mistake, Karen's shoulders slumped. The sheriff softened, kneeling to the boy's level, offering reassurance. "Son, you're safe now," he said. I stepped forward, retrieving the scattered pages of my grandfather's photo album, stained with Karen's tears. Images of harvest festivals and holiday gatherings scattered at our feet, a testament to generations of family history, she nearly erased in her zeal. As the boy clung to the sheriff's coat, Karen faced me, voice small. "Too thought it was my duty." I exhaled, wrestling with my own outrage and empathy. The story's true conflict lay not just in property lines, but in overzealous righteousness unchecked by understanding. I reached into my coat, producing my grandfather's deed and the official notice clarifying rental agreements for close kin. "You missed the memo, Karen," I said quietly. "This cabin hosts seasonal helpers by deed. Next time, read the papers." Embarrassment and relief warred on her features. In that split second, her authority collapsed. Yet her departure was not a dramatic chase but a quiet retreat. The sheriff guided her to the cruiser, offering a final instruction. "If you plan further action, file with the county. Don't take matters into your own hands." She climbed in, head hung low, entourage in tow, leaving behind splintered boards and heavy silence. The cabin's battered door swung on broken hinges as I surveyed the damage-shattered glass glinting in the dawn light. I knelt to gather my grandfather's photo fragments, lining them on the floor. Children's laughter frozen in holiday parades, couples dancing at porch picnics, memories nearly lost to entitlement. Holding those remnants, I felt the weight of legacy, and the imperative to defend more than land, to uphold dignity and understanding. By mid-morning, I had summoned local carpenters, neighbors sympathetic to our plight to board up windows and restore the door. Word spread through Bear Creek's small community. A cabin saved from HOA overreach by blood and badge. Crowded behind them, the honorary council of elders, respected longtime residents, arrived bearing coffee, saw blades, and silent support. That evening, as the forest settled into twilight, I live-streamed a message from the cabin's newly repaired porch. Holding the sheriff's notice and my grandfather's deed side by side, I said, "Authority without empathy destroys what it seeks to protect. Karen's mistake became ours to heal. Tell me, was her reaction understandable, or a betrayal of trust?" The early comments flooded in, some sympathizing with her zeal, others condemning her trespass. Yet beneath the debate emerged threads of community. Neighbors sharing tips on conflict resolution, urging education over confrontation, reminding all that rules serve people, not the other way around. I stepped forward under the lodge's weathered portico, the crowd parting respectfully. With the deed and sheriff's notice resting on the lectern, I reminded everyone that legal rights carry human responsibility. My words wove through memories, how Karen's overreach shattered boards and trust alike, how the sheriff's calm enforcement restored both, and how our collective response could transform this moment into a lesson for every cabin and cul-de-sac. Murmurs rippled across the wooden benches, hearts softened by the gravity of our recent ordeal. The first speaker emerged, a schoolteacher named Claire Harper, whose summer classes had been canceled when she helped barricade the windows. Her voice wavered as she recounted her fear that authority had become arbitrary. A hush followed, sympathy blooming in nods. Then came Jake Morales, a retired firefighter who'd volunteered to patch the roof's broken rafters. He praised community unity over unilateral rulemaking. Their testimonies fused into a mosaic of voices demanding a new covenant written not in bylaws alone, but in mutual respect. Midway through, an unexpected participant approached the lectern. Karen's grandson Daniel, clutching his baseball glove. His eyes were somber but unafraid. "I was scared," he said softly, "when Grandma screamed. She never explained why she cared so much. I thought I'd lost my summer home." His confession cut to the heart. Entitlement often masks deeper insecurities. When he spoke of missing his grandmother's laughter around the campfire, a hush descended, a reminder that Karen's fury, though misguided, was rooted in her own fears of losing control. A transformative hush settled as I invited Karen herself, her presence improbably to join us. Through the crowd's surprised gasps, she emerged in simple attire, sleeves rolled up, eyes downcast. She addressed Daniel first, kneeling beside him. "I'm sorry you were caught in my mistakes," she whispered. Then she turned to the assembly, voice steady. "I forgot that rules are for people, not to bully them. I let my fear of change drive me instead of listening." Her apology was raw, uncluttered by pretense. The lodge's rafters seemed to sigh in relief. That admission birthed the next step, forging a community charter. Old bylaws would be archived. A new document would emphasize transparency, proportional enforcement, and an appeals board with rotating membership. Volunteers picked up pens, ink flowing into fresh provisions. Rights to family visits, guidelines for property inspections, and a mediation panel to prevent future cabin sieges. Each clause was debated with earnest conviction, forging consensus from conflict's crucible. As afternoon light waned, the charter lay complete, bound and displayed in the lodge's glass case. A final flourish. A wooden plank salvaged from the cabin's broken threshold, inscribed with the charter's spirit. Trust through transparency. That symbol would hang in every cabin. A reminder that no single person should wield unchecked authority. When the gathering dispersed, neighbors embraced, laughter bubbling where fear had reigned. I walked Daniel back to his grandmother's driveway, where Karen awaited by the repaired door. She lifted her grandson into a hug, tears glistening. In that embrace was forgiveness earned and trust renewed. Back at my own campfire that evening, I logged on to update the live stream with the charter signing. As embers glowed and night creatures sang, I held up the charter page beside my grandfather's deed. "We chose collaboration over confrontation," I said into the camera. Was enforcing the sheriff's order extreme? Or the spark that ignited collective wisdom? Debate below, but remember, accountability thrives when we listen first. Across digital threads and lakeside porches, the question echoed, weaving into every lesson taught at kitchen tables and campfires alike. Under the vast canopy of night, I closed my laptop, the lodge's charter softly humming in memory. Grandpa's cabin, once shadowed by splintered boards and hollow rage, now radiated warmth and possibility. And as fireflies winked between tree trunks, I realized the true measure of justice resides not in badges or bylaws, but in our capacity to reconcile, rebuild, and renew together.